Hello, my friends. Today we have something a little bit different. One of my friends is having an issue with his BMW and sent me an email requesting assistance.
Hey Chris, I have something for you to look at if you're willing. A 95 1100R with 30k. I bought it recently. Runs well, rides well, but the first full tank of fuel ran out all over my garage floor from the vent tubes. Both of them. I emptied as much of the gas as I could, blew through the cap vent and got fuel spitting out. If we were going that deep into the tank, a filter replacement and any hoses. Nakar.
Hi, Nick. You're telling me that the number 2 hoses from the cap assembly to the fuel pump plate have rotted through. Since when you add fuel anywhere above the broken hoses, fuel will pour out over the overflow hose and cap vent hose. Replacement of the fuel pump, strainer, filter, and all hoses and clamps inside and outside of the fuel tank is best. These are available from Beamer Boneyard. Adding these quick connects would make tank removal easier for you next time. I have a video of this work on an R1100RT. Some is published, some still on the table. I'm sure once you open the tank up, you'll see what the problem is. Don't let the flaking liner scare you. The screen filters that out perfectly.
Yes, I think that is exactly what I'm telling you. Is it something you might be interested in taking on? Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Nick, but I can't. My video work is all that I have, and I thank you for supporting that. I have much more video material coming for these old machines which we love. You can handle this repair yourself, and I'd coach you through it if you were to get stuck. Thanks again.
I think it's something I can do, and I've watched your R1100R fuel filter video. I just need those crimping pliers and tubing pliers now. I hope we get to ride together sometime. Hey Chris, got the Beamer Boneyard fuel supply parts. You mentioned their plastic bendy hose which is about a foot long, and he gave me 2 of them, but you didn't speak to its actual usefulness and durability as a replacement for the OE elbow. Also, it looks like he supplies 2 shorter solid plastic tubes to replace the 2 short lengths on the filter and pump.
Hey Nick, they have had great success with the bendy hose. I've not yet used it, but I see no reason not to.
Hi Chris, well, I'm about a week into my 45-minute project. Once I got the bung removed, I discovered relatively new parts, hoses. All the crimp clamps were replaced with the slotted type screw clamps, so all of those I replaced. My leak? The only 2 crimp clamps left were on the 2 overflow tubes, and neither were crimped, hence my leak. So I replaced all the clamps, checked everything else, and reinstalled. Except the bike is in no start. Will fire on a bit of starter fluid, but there is no telltale buzz from the fuel pump when the bike is turned on. Yes, side stand is up. So out came the bung again. I checked voltages and continuities. I have 12 volts at the bike side socket, where the pigtail plugs in. The pump runs when jumped directly. The only wire that doesn't check out is the green wire in the pigtail. I have continuity on the brown and white wires from the plug to the inside of the bung plate, but not the green one. I know what the obvious answer is, and it's $393. Am I missing anything else?
Nick, you can see how a shop can suffer through this type of job. Is the connector damaged? The pin pushed out a bit so as to not make a good connection? Green is power, brown is ground.
The connector appears in good shape, and no issues with the pins. I can't make continuity on the green wire from the plug to the inside of the bung, where the wires come through. Nakar.
If you can't get power from the outside to the inside, then you need to replace the part that is preventing the necessary connection. I know you're paying all too well, and BMW's no returns on electrical items adds a bit of anxiety to the project. It's times like these when the shop owner starts tearing their hair out, like me. If this were a job sitting in my shop, customer comes in with a leaky tank in this situation where, you think just a few hoses are going to take care of the problem. And so the customer expects, a little bit in parts and a little bit in labor, and The shop owner and the technician expect, hey, a little bit in parts and a little bit in labor, and we can get this job out the door quick. That all goes right down the crapper. Look at this poor situation. This all began because whoever was in the fuel tank last didn't crimp the last two hoses. Those two vent hoses that go from the fuel cap down to the fuel pump plate. Had those two vent hoses been secured, we wouldn't even be into this issue. Because the bike runs great, rides great, except it puked its fuel all over the floor. So now it's in the shop and you're going, well, we found the fuel puking problem, but now it has no power to the fuel pump. Oh, that's a $400 part. And how much time is invested in this already? Excuse me, customer? Yeah, I know. You were expecting about $300 in parts. And I know, about 2-3 hours worth of my labor. Now we're into much more time in labor diagnosing this problem and taking this all apart all over again. And now you need another $400 in parts. And maybe you can't even guarantee that that's the solution to the problem. That might just be part of a problem that rears its ugly head after you spend all kinds of money. Tough for the shop owner. Tough for the customer. Who wants to eat this? Who should eat the fuel pump plate at this point? Okay, there needs to be a big $400 part. You know what happens in this case? The shop owner goes, hey, I'll tell you what. You buy the $400 part, I'll eat the labor and install this all over again. And why? Did the shop owner do something wrong? No. All of this worked before disassembly. But you know what? When it's in the shop owner's hands upon reassembly, it don't work no more. Who's it fall back upon? You can see how this can become painful and not profitable. Not profitable. I have to emphasize that not profitable. Because if it's not profitable, how do you keep the doors open? And not every job is profitable. That's going to wrap this one up for now. The next step is going to be to wait for a part from BMW. See me again soon, my friends. Take care. Blah, blah, blah.